Greetings! Stay a while and listen to me, MarauderEX, as we play Super Mario RPG, the remake, the return, the remaster. I'm not entirely sure which this technically falls under. It is a complete redo of the 1996 Super Nintendo Classic, and we are going to start a new game. Like, I've been kind of, dicking around with it a little bit, trying to figure out what it is I'm going to do with this Let's Play, but we have two options for difficulty. We can do breezy or normal. We're going to do normal. Difficulty for this game is not super high, and there have been some interesting quality of life changes to this game that are going to make it a little bit more, not necessarily easy, but it's gonna change things a little bit. So the whole story starts off with Peach hanging out at Mario's place, Bowser coming in, bringing in a storm with him, which is incredibly interesting. Like, he just has the ability to bring inclement weather, and Mario hops out of his house. Why he wasn't hanging out with Peach outside, I don't know, but And then we get to see Bowser's glorious rendered castle, his clown car. So much of this is really well done. So, like, the jumping there, this little bit where Mario gets, like, a cartoon-like running start, you'll see here in a second. Yeah, run back. The wind-up. All of this was pulled from the 96 version. And the fact that they put that much into this game is insane to me, actually. And it's just the same, turn-based combat. We've got timed hits, and as you can see, it will give you a visual cue now. And if you time the hit perfectly, you'll do splash damage to other enemies on screens. Like, that's one of the quality of life adjustments. It makes some of the fodder fights a little more bearable, because you can kind of tear through people a little easier. Like, everything about this is just, it's a wonderful nostalgia trip, but it's also, it feels fresh, and that's impressive. Because, like, this is the kind of remake that I really like, is just, redoing the game in, a new graphic style. Not that, I have a problem with the pixel art. Pixel art is gorgeous. Pixel art games have aged so well. I still think Chrono Trigger is one of the most beautiful games I've seen. Just, a combination of everything about it. So, and we've got the fight with Bowser. Don't let Bowser bruise you. And, like, even all of the dialogue is pulled from, like, they haven't changed much, and I'm just failing miserably at timing. But, that's... Like, I need to pay more attention to the visual cue as opposed to the audio cue, because I do have a little bit of an audio delay on my headset. So, I also love that the chain chomp is what's holding up the chandelier, and Bowser's reaction is to start hopping around and being like, please don't fall, as I hop around. I'm a giant turtle monster, and I'm gonna hop around. And then, true to form, Bowser throws a hammer, which, that is a very specific callback to Mario 1. Because Bowser did actually throw hammers in Mario 1. I think that's the only game he's thrown a hammer in. So. And then the physics of this is somewhat questionable, how we catch up to him. Like, and how tall is this place? And it's just gonna keep going. There are some weird graphic, like, it feels like this game was not as super optimized as it could have been. Does seem to be a couple of graphical hiccups of, like, certain stuttering or frame dropping, something along those lines. But to make up for it, you get these gorgeous cutscenes, which this is how I saw the game when it came out in '96. Like, I remember when it came out, I remember watching, you know, the sword slam into Bowser's Keep and shatter and stars raining down, and, like, this is what it looked like to me. It was pixel art, but this is how my mind kind of pieced it together. And then, like, this just gorgeous title screen. And Mario gets kicked into the ether because of the sword slamming through. We land at Mario's house, which is the Mario house, which that is one change to the game that I'm like, okay, I see why they did it, because the original name was Pipe House, which Mario's a plumber, he's laying pipe. Except laying pipe has a very different connotation. So a couple of changes. We have a new menu where you can see your party, your equipment, you can see what your special abilities are and what levels they are learned at, your items, and a journal system that right now we have a monster list, which will tell us all of the monsters we've encountered and give us a little bit of information about them. We can learn what their weaknesses are, what their drops are, the number of times we've beaten them, and a little bit of bio from them. I don't know if we can also learn the Malo's Identify, like, because if you time the his Identify perfectly, you can get what the monster's thinking. I don't know if we get that. And then one thing is we can just return to world map from anywhere. And then we have game settings. You can have default to run, or you can change it to walk and have to hold L or R. I'm going to leave it at that. Type A controls. Skip targeting. We can change the difficulty. You can carry fewer items. That's interesting. I didn't see that. But this is actually one thing that we can switch between the classic and the modern. And I'm actually going to keep classic. I've really loved the classic. So, yeah. The princess was here with you. Mario, where is she? You're not telling me something. I'm not telling you because Mario is the silent protagonist. Which, this is from that age of RPGs where you had a silent protagonist, because the player was meant to kind of fill in their dialogue. So, Mario, even though Mario is not a silent character by any stretch of the imagination, he is silent in this game. Alright, so we can save it. And then it does have an autosave feature, which is also a really interesting quality of life change that I like. So, you know, that's neat. So we are going to leave Mario's pad and go to Bowser's Keep. Now, it did say Mario's pad on the world map of the original as well. So it's interesting that, you know, they even bothered changing the Pipe House to Mario House, or just kind of surprised they didn't just change it to Mario's pad. But hey, there's a giant sword with a face sticking out of Bowser's Keep. Halt, who goes there? A trespasser. The castle now belongs to us, the Smithy Gang. We have big plans, and this is the first step in them. If it weren't for nosy characters like you, we'd practically own this world. So let's see you deal with this. And he just starts moving his mouth very rapidly, and that causes the entryway to Bowser's Keep to collapse. And Mario climbs up and stares off into the distance and jumps threateningly that I will return, giant sword. You can't stop me. So now back to Mario's pad to tell Toad that, hey, this is bad. Did you forget something? And Mario, again, being a silent protagonist, pantomimes everything. That's all this is. Like, he's just going to pantomime everything. Yeah, we gotta go tell the Chancellor. One other quality of life change is we can carry more items now, which I kind of like. That bump on your head reduced your HP level. Got a mushroom. Whenever you want to use an item, press X. Oh, I had something to tell you. Ack, I remember I came to warn you that Mushroom Way is swarming with monsters. Mario, please, perhaps I can help you. Do you know about action commands? Yes. That's timed hits. He knows about action commands. He's gonna punch your lights out. I love how the Goomba's like, Mario just crushes us for fun. Like, I should leave now. We need to tell the Chancellor about Peach. I'll see you over at the Mushroom Kingdom. So we get a bunch of mushrooms. So we have some healing items. And we can go to Mushroom Way, which is kind of like your first introductory area. And real fights. And that's another thing that so now that we actually have the full combat gauge, you have a chain that builds up and you get effects the higher the chain goes. And then below that you've got a special gauge that builds up over time, which right now just summons Toad to give an item. And that item is really only good for that fight, and it may not even last the entirety of that fight, depending on the item. It could just be a one-time use heal, or enemy damage, or defense, or attack up. You know, there's a couple of different options. But once we get 3 party members, it becomes a super attack. And each combination of party members will change the super attack. So that's actually really interesting. I did not mean to do that, but sure. And as you can see, I stopped getting the prompt for the attack because I have been hitting the timing more regularly. So the action command prompts will kind of fade away if the game's like, oh, you've hit this consistently. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's see. Let's jump. And we've learned a weakness. Some elements are especially effective against certain monsters. Jump is a weakness in the Mario RPG world. Like, that's a thing. I did miss the timing on that. I am going to have a hell of a time getting the 100 jump. Oh, I also completely forgot. So every time you level up in this game, you can see what your stats are. So, like, your base level up stat, like, we go from 20 to 25 HP, 20 to 23 attack, defense of 0 to 2, magic attack of 10 to 12, magic defense of 2 to 4. You can also pick one that you can get an extra bonus at. And each level, there's one that gives you slightly more. So at level 2, magic is actually the one that you want to go with. And it goes magic, attack, HP. And it just kind of cycles in that. So the next time Mario levels up, and he levels up to 3, you want to go for attack to get the best bet. But because everyone will kind of level up at their own pace, you'll want to kind of keep tabs on what level they are, so that you can pay attention, so that you can get the best level up bonus for them. If you're aiming to min-max. If you're just aiming to make certain characters fill certain niches, like if you want Mario to be your, you know, all-around attacker, you can just pump every level up into attack and have a ridiculously high attack. Your other stats will be a little bit weaker. I mean, I do believe there is a cap to your stats. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a long time since I've done any of the end game content for this game. So, but one thing I love about this game is the battles are just fun. So like, I have no problem getting into random encounters. Like, hey, you get XP, you get some money, but like, it's fun. Now, especially with being able to do splash damage to everyone, getting in it, we can, let's go ahead and do this. Toad Assist. And I don't know what that is. Lucky Star. Attack action commands succeed for 2 turns. So I think that's just no matter if you get the timing for it or not, you just get it. And refill on FP. And a pick-me-up. And some dead Goombas. Oh, that wasn't a refill of FP. That was getting an extra FP. That is one thing that I didn't originally like about this game, was that all of your characters kind of share the same MP pool. But, you know, it's not a bad thing. But it's just here's a token of my appreciation. Got a flower tab. Speaking of more items, raises FP by 1. That does refill our FP. And kill some Goombas. And HP max. You'll get a lot of those. That's just something that happens randomly throughout the game. Is just you'll get items from enemies like that, either gauge up, HP max, go again. I've gotten into fights where I have had Mario go like 3 times in a row before anyone else has ever gotten a chance to do anything else. Because he kills someone, gets that go again, kills someone else, go again. It's like, okay, sure, Mario's just on a murder spree. It's not dark at all. And I do want to kind of kill more of these guys, because we are coming up on the boss. So I do want to kill and hopefully get a 3rd level. Or at least get my gauge up to full, if not both. Alright, so I need 13, so a couple more fights. I can just follow this Lakitu around. He should, yeah, drop more friends for us. And I do have quite a few health increasing items, but we also do get full HP when we level up. So, you know, as long as you don't die before the level up. Alright, come on Lakitu, keep dropping some friends. We've got a boss fight to deal with. And we will have one more fight before we level up 2 more fights before... 3 more fights before we level up. Because, yeah, that's... Whoop, that's not what I wanted. My hammer and I don't like ya. You better be careful, he's definitely got a mean streak. Okay, yeah, I don't want to fight him. I want to get another level up before we fight him. So we're going to do that. Not that I'm worried about fighting him, because again, not a super difficult game. As you can see, the fights aren't terribly bad, but having the level up gives us some extra stats, and it's a free health replenishment. Attack up and gauge up. That's, I mean, that was a little overkill for him. Alright, come on. 2 more fights. Drop more of these little spinies. Or just miss that completely, Mario. And there we go. And I did kind of lose my gauge there, or my chain. Not that it matters as much. Alright, come on. There you go. Here we go. This is what we want. We want you to be dead. And then we want you to be dead. And then we level up. And then the next level up that we want is attack. So... Oh no, I still have one more. Damn it. I can't math. I mean, you all know that, but... There. You... Yeah, I know gauge up. I probably could have rebuilt a fair bit of that gauge in that number of fights, but... Level up! Mario reaches level 3. And we've learned Fireball. Physical attack is where we want to go. Okay. Now it's time to get into the fight with the Hammer Brother. And it's 2 of them. Alright, let's start with the gauge. I don't know what that does. Power Mushroom. Attack up. Oh, it heals and we get attack up. And I missed that altogether. Let's go ahead and jump. And he's just dead. The other guy, however, is going to use Valor up, which is attack and defense up. So he's going to be a little bit harder to kill. But we'll still beat him. So, there he goes. And we haven't run into any yet, but there is also a new type of enemy that you can run into called special enemies, which are just slightly stronger versions. And that kind of makes a little bit of a plot hole for this game, if I'm being completely honest. It's a Hammer Bros. Hammer with the Hammer Bros insignia on it. You never know, it might come in handy. Picked up a hammer. Alright, so we can go and equip the hammer, and now we have 38 attack. We are a bit overpowered right now. Just saying. Alright, so now we can make it to the Mushroom Kingdom. And I'm going to do one thing here before I end the episode. And we run into a Toadette who's just like, hey, you're standing in poop. Got you. Haha. So funny. One thing we can do in this game is we can get an item much earlier in this version of the game than the original. We come down here and talk to this wise-looking gentleman here. I order you to stand before me. I now order you to jump. In this world, there are things called hidden treasures. Use your awesome jumping ability to look for them. This should help you do. We get the signal ring. So this actually, And it shows there's a hidden treasure nearby in the one place that you could miss in the original game. You can't miss it in this game. They make it so that you can't miss it. But there is... Getting on top of him is a little more difficult. But you can use the signal ring. And I think there's one other treasure in here. I don't remember. That might be the only one. Just the two hidden treasures in, I know we can jump on this kid's head and get dizzy. There we go. And then we'll fall off and spin around. Again, what's amazing is all of this is pulled from the original. Like, they just did everything. Yeah, I feel like the only other treasure is in the castle. And I will wait till the next episode to get that. So I will see you all in the next installment. So till then, later everyone.